You mentioned one elite fighter. Just one.
You.
Me.
Look, when I stuff a mud hole in your asses, you're gonna be a nobody. You're gonna be just like everybody else.
All gonna be the same.
I try it, but my body just not let me go. And you need to accept it. That's it. I hit Crawford, but no clean shots. Like with all my power. He's a great fighter. He's a good fighter. He knows how to move and everything.
All gonna be the same.
Yo. What's good? What's good? It's Stormy B Man, and I am back. Welcoming you to the Friday Night Chop Session with Stormy B Man for this Friday, September 19th, 2025. This is number 197 in the series of Chop Sessions, as we are calling this episode the new Pound for Pound brings a frown. Bars. Yeah! Listen, you guys, glad to be here with you on this Friday evening. Hope that you are doing well. Hope that you've had a prosperous week as we enter a weekend of mild boxing, but there's boxing all the same. And we'll talk a little bit about that, but there's still some fallout from last weekend's event, and I just had to open up with those sound bites because that was a little bit of before, during, and post, and what we've seen to found that the former champion, Saul Canelo Alvarez, was humbled, Humbled. Yeah, you know how they always are talking about some of the black fighters who might have loud personalities, who are brimming with confidence, that they should be taken down a peg or two, a rung, on the ladder step. And it's interesting to see when one of the participants of the sport, whom they've classified as the face of the sport of boxing, gets humbled, to the degree that he will even tell his own supporters, we've got to respect it, that I'm not the guy, Yeah. You see, because that's what Canelo was able to do. He was able to tell his people, his followers, his supporters, we've got to accept it, I ain't all of that. Yeah. And so as we come to these truths, it has been revealed. There's a new sheriff in town. And his name is Terrence Bud Crawford. And quite a few people are unhappy, But didn't Bud Crawford prophesize that a lot of them would be crying, Crying, yeah, That there would be tissues issued, bars, yeah, So we're here as the fallout continues. Oh yeah, and since this event, which, like they said, 41 million people tuned in, 70,000 something were there in person to witness. You see, that's when you know things are doing very well, when all eyes are on what they should be. But have you noticed the fair-weathered ones, the ones who were, I knew he could do it all the time, I told you, You know they the fair-weathers, especially when they got to come and remind you, I told you, I knew it all the time. Listen, when I've said what I've had to say about the fighters, it comes way before, It's just that some of you skip class, F plus, you know where to go. But that's okay. It's all a part of the process. Because everybody ain't gonna make it, Yeah. Now, when I say the new pound for pound brings a frown, it is a new acknowledgement for them folks, Because Stormy B-Man's Thunderous Top 10 has acknowledged the presence of our new super middleweight undisputed champion. Doesn't that have a nice ring to it? Terrence Bud Crawford. Yeah. He's been atop that list of mine for quite some time. I didn't even have to make any adjustments. Matter of fact, you might as well have said that he was cemented there in that place. Interestingly, Ring Magazine has now decided to acknowledge him. And that's wonderful. They should have done it long ago. But this is what happens when people who like to create narrative and like to control and dictate how information is divvied out. But hey, we get the real eventually, because cream rises to the top. I like to say that my Thunderous Top 10 is a list of fighters who impact the sport positively, have value as far as viewership. People would like to tune into their matches to see what happened. They also have the type of ability to keep and captivate an audience when they're performing. They provide serious challenges for their opposition. And they typically can represent themselves and the sport in an enlightening way where you can always look to expect a certain amount of correctness. They don't avoid potential challenges. And though they may not face every single solid opposition out there, they face enough of it that you have a body of work that you can measure their accomplishments against. There's not a lot of fighters that can say that or fall into that. That's why it's called my Thunderous Top 10. It is not by any means a pound for pound list. It's even greater than that. And there are plenty of people out here who like to create their own pound for pound list, but they find often that it's filled with what they like. Remember, my list is representatives of the sport and the audiences that tune in to watch boxing on a regular basis. That's something that I've done consistently now for the past 4 years. It's been great because there are a couple of fighters on that list that have remained since I started doing that show, or display that list of fighters. And I have a Thunderous Top 10 for both the women and the men's division of boxing. And for as long as I'm capable, I will continue to do that. And as we get ready to talk more about wrapping things up from last week, I want to acknowledge this list once again as I present it to you this Friday. It was updated September 1st. So here we are on the 19th, and things remain. See, this is my Thunderous Top 10 listing. From number 10, we have Junto Nakatani, a possible candidate for Naoya Inoue next year. He's in the division right beneath him and is nipping at the heels of Inoue. He could be the most solid challenger yet for the monster if the monster elects to hang around to face him. At number 9, we have former undisputed lightweight and former junior welterweight champion Devin the Dream Haney. Devin is facing a November challenge of Brian Norman Jr. for his WBO welterweight title in a fight that is a can't miss, must see type of event. Two young men that the sport needs to come together to bring us back along that line and path of what we once saw of young contending fighters, championship caliber fighters, champion title holding fighters facing off against one another in their perpetual youth. This is what we would like to see. Now, like I said earlier, we don't necessarily need to see these guys fighting tough fight after tough fight after tough fight. But there should be intervals of where they face the type of opposition that define them, where they presently find themselves in their careers. And this is such a fight for Norman Jr. as well as Haney. At number 8 is Jesse Bam Rodriguez, a fighter who is trained by Robert Garcia out of the Garcia gym. And this young man is one heck of a pint-sized fighter, and he seemingly does a lot of the technical things correct in the sport. His challenges may come from moving up a division or more, because he has really separated himself from the opposition of where he finds himself presently. At number 7, we have Gervonta Tank Davis, a fighter who still on talent alone belongs on the list, but his consideration is drying up, for he is not doing what the other fighters on this list are doing. He's not facing his contemporaries. And you have to hold that against him, because you cannot define whom he truly is as a fighter unless we could see him in against other fighters that can challenge him. Not fights that he could go in where he is the considered fighter and favored going in. 50-50 match where you just don't know until we see the outcome is what is required of Davis, and he hasn't given us that at all. At number 6, we have the mouth that could, Shitty Cuz, Shakur Stevenson, an outstanding young boxer whom is just a cut above Tank Davis in facing the opposition that we require and desire of him. But make no mistake about it, I do believe back against the wall, Shakur will deliver, but it's going to require people turn the heat up on him. He has hung around the likes of Andre Ward and Terrence Crawford to the degree that some of that championship elite status fighter residue should have kind of rubbed off on him. And he should be chomping at the bit to want to prove himself against his contemporaries. But he hasn't been assuredly motivated to do so, which is why he's kind of, like I said, just head above the water of someone like Tank Davis. At number 5, we have the former unified, former undisputed light heavyweight champion, Artur Beterbiev, a fighter who is now 40 years old, and his one loss, a decision loss to Dmitry Bivol in their rematch earlier this year. And you just kind of don't know if Artur is going to take that slip off the ledge of being a fighter that's being he's being aged out. They were supposed to have a trilogy match between he and Bivol, but it hasn't come to pass. Bivol has had some other things going on, allegedly, physically, with operations and stuff like that. So we just don't know what's going to happen. But Beterbiev is going to step into the ring again before the end of the year. At number 4, the aforementioned Dmitry Bivol, who is presently the undisputed light heavyweight title holder and former unified champion, and a fighter that is looking to come back maybe sometime early in 2026 and show us what he's working with. However, the unfinished business with Canelo Alvarez, many have said they wanted to see that rematch that never happened. Canelo has shown no interest in wanting to run anything back with Dmitry Bivol, and I can understand after last Saturday why. There's just some fighters he can't get beyond Canelo. Now, at number 3, we have the monster, the Japanese sensation, Naoya Inoue, Some people have tried to pit him above at number 1 for being pound for pound, which is an insult to both the two fighters who are above him. But at the same time, he is valued enough to be considered inside the top 5. I have him at number 3 because of his resume of whom he's defeated, and coming out of his last weekend's successful unanimous decision victory over MJ. He needs a new challenge, like a new pair of shoes. And I'm going to talk about that MJ fight because it was one of the most deplorable efforts that I have seen out of a challenger whom claimed that a title holder was ducking him and running from him. I didn't have MJ winning the round in his challenge against Monster. And we'll talk about it. At number 2, I have Alexander Usyk. Now, there are some people who will argue the fact, and I've done it in the past. Usyk is now the heavyweight champion of the world, the undisputed heavyweight champion of the world. He has entertained the thought and notion of going back down to cruiserweight, and seeing that he beat 3 of the biggest heavyweights in recent memory twice each. That is an amazing feat, where he also in the interim has become a 2-time undisputed heavyweight champion, a former cruiserweight undisputed champion. Alexander Usyk is quite an accomplished fighter. But if you look at what he and Dmitry Bivol have both had to say when questioned about pound for pound, the two of them have acknowledged that they both feel that Terrence Bud Crawford defines the position of pound for pound, with Bivol even saying that if there was a book displaying pound for pound, that Terrence Bud Crawford should be listed right in that manual. Usyk has spoken of Crawford's abilities and even had a slight argument when being interviewed and asked, but he defiantly said without a doubt, a shadow of a doubt, that Bud Crawford is pound for pound. He talks about Crawford's abilities being something that should set a precedent for other fighters to consider. And understand, these are two men, Bivol and Usyk, who come from a different country in the world. They are not homegrown, good old boy network American folk. So they can see the world through a different lens, if you know what I mean. And when they said what they said about Terrence Bud Crawford, it's what I've always intimated myself, but we have always had a struggle because there's so much emphasis on prejudice, bias, bigotry in this nation, to the degree that people can't get beyond where they are because they're defined in compartmentalizations. Yeah. But you take these two men, look at how accomplished they are, both in amateur careers, Usyk and Bivol, and as well as in their professional careers. They have stood out head and shoulders above their competition and opposition. So When you have it like that, that's a solid merit to stand upon. So at number 1, I've had him there for quite a long time in my consideration, and now international recognition, Terrence Bud Crawford be the number 1 fighter in the sport. It's been a long time coming for that type of representation for Bud. And I'm proud to say that I have shown the type of support in his professional career that I can stand without being determined as a person of having just boarded the gravy train, you see? And that makes a difference, because also rans and tag-alongs are not necessarily quality representation in the sport of boxing. You have to do your homework when you have fighters like this out there. And it means a lot for the fighters of today to get in there and be recognized by not only the writers and some of these now podcast platforms, but by their contemporaries. You see, when your contemporaries are acknowledging your greatness or your accomplishments, that's respect. Even if these scribes choose to be disrespectful. So I admire the quality that they do that. It's a wonderful thing. So it's an acknowledgement on my behalf just to come out here and show that to you guys, what my Thunderous Top 10 list looks like. So there you have it. Now, on to completing the news from last weekend. Monster Inoue took Murodjon Akhmadaliev to school, people. They fought Sunday morning, the day after Terrence Crawford's victory over Canelo Alvarez. And it was just a hopeless effort on Akhmadaliev's behalf. And we've seen him fight and be strong and be a physical presence in there against his opponents. But on this night in Japan, he gave little effort. He didn't fight with no spirit. He didn't have any sense of urgency. As the rounds went by, he fought the same way each and every round. Was not good enough to win a round, but to lose a round. He made Monster Inoue look like he was an outstanding boxer like Pernell Whitaker or something. I just was marveling watching the crap, man. I was like sitting there. I'm like, what is going on here? Is this guy gonna even try to go for it? And round after round after round after round, no effort, totally lackluster. He fought like he didn't have arms. If you all who are in the chat with me this evening had a chance to watch this particular fight, could you put a 1 in the chat if you watched this matchup? Because going in, I had done a breakdown video. I'm like, the way that they both have represented before meeting one another, they have given exciting performances to make people say, oh, it's this should be a battle. And please don't think that I was thinking like, oh, I wanted MJ to knock out Inoue. I wanted it to be a quality fight. But it wasn't. it turned out that Neri gave a better effort against Inoue, and his last opponent gave a better effort. What the hell was going on with MJ though? You know, when I see fighters perform like he did, I've often been known to say I don't want to see him again. You know why? Because it's like a game quitter, a guy who will go in there and go the distance and make sure he doesn't get stopped or knocked out, but he's not going to put himself in a position to try to stop or knock out the other guy. Really ridiculous, man. If you saw the 7th round, if you saw the 3rd round, if you saw the 10th round, you saw the whole fight. Every round looked like the previous. And Monster even took a couple of moments in there where he went in there and tried to really go at the guy for moments at a time. And like I said, it's not his fault. It's not his fault. So yeah, it was really a disappointing performance, man. I don't like fighters that come out and give those kind of performances. Please keep their asses off of television is what I say. When they give those half-assed efforts like that, that's like Daniel Dubois. If I never saw him in the ring again, I'd be happy. I don't like that kind of stuff, man. I just don't. And that's not Stormy B-Man saying, oh, these guys should go in there and give the kind of effort where their life is on the line. No, their lives are on the line anytime they get in the ring. But that's not what I'm saying. But I know the difference between a non-effort, and someone out there just going through the paces or whatever. And that's what we saw. We saw these guys going through the paces, and it was ridiculous, man. I just, what can we say? So Eric Jordan, you saw it. Steph Brown, you saw it. Listen, what do you guys think of MJ's effort? And please, you don't have to, align what your thoughts are with what I've had to say. But I thought it was ridiculous, man. Utterly ridiculous. Man, that fight sucked. Sucked all the air out of my room and my TV. I was like, man, I'm sitting in there. I need oxygen. I was like, what the hell am I watching here? I wanted to get up early to watch that crap. And see if these boxing platforms and some of the journalists, if they spoke about these guys the correct way, maybe you could light a fire under them to get them to perform better. Because that was definitely some bull crap. Definitely. What the hell was that foolishness? Yeah, Eric Jordan, it was definitely disappointing, huh? What was MJ waiting for? He was throwing punches and fighting like somebody, told him with every punch you land, we gonna take 100,000 out your purse or something. So he basically fought with his hands in his pocket. Some straight garbage. Steph Brown says poor below average effort. Again, he didn't have anything for Naoya after 3 rounds. He didn't have anything from the first round. What do you mean? Stop going easy on these guys, man. Did you see when Bud Crawford, when the bell rang for the first round, he stepped to Canelo and stuffed a few jabs down his face? He was the challenger. But people say he starts slow. I do not like to see fighters like that, man. You could keep that crap. Just keep it. The straight shit show. That's right. So I was watching the full card for Crawford and Canelo, and there was something that took place on the undercard that was really special. The battle between Christian Mbili and Lester Martinez. What a fight that was, people. Those two men fought like if the ring was 10 by 10. It was going to be the same kind of fight. I really enjoyed the spirited effort by both men, but it was painfully obvious that Christian Mbili is a very limited fighter. And Lester Martinez fought more with his, with his sense of bravado and his pride, because he didn't want to step out and give the angles that were necessary to run Mbili into shots where he could just score the points and outpoint the man. But it ended up being a draw, and rightfully so, because they just fought giving back and forth to one another when Martinez was clearly the more diverse fighter in there. And had he just followed the coach's instructions and stepped off to the side and stepped back and pumped the jab and allow Mbili to run into the shots, but he was too prideful and decided to just go in there and be in the phone booth with the guy. I didn't like that. And so Martinez gets a B- from me for his efforts, because if you can't listen to your coaches and trainers and you go out there and you're going to fight in that single dimension when you can be more versatile because you have the ability, you've done it in the past and whatnot, then I'm sorry, you're a dumb fighter. You're a dummy. And I call them those things because that's what they display. If you want to say that, oh, someone is so intelligent and articulate and all of that, well, when someone is a buffoon, you say it too, Yeah, it hurt their feelings, But what they say nowadays, F your feelings, because you're showing yourself to be moronic, Who the hell wants to stick their hand in the flame talking about, but I like the heat though? Smelling like fried bologna, hand over the flame. Man, if you don't get all the way the hell up out of here with that foolishness. So yeah, to talk about those guys, and Mbili was tired too. He got tired from putting all that pressure on. He doesn't work behind a jab. The bell rings, he walks to his opponents and starts winging shots. So all you got to do is run him into your jab, drop body punches in there several times around, and you may stop him before the distance, huh? But Lester stopped throwing body punches too. I was like, why is he not hitting the man to the body? You can see he's breathing. He's heaving. Over there in the corner in between rounds. Go to the body, dude. And everybody knows that muscles weigh more than fat. So, and Billy is quite a chiseled dude. It's like you hit him in them muscles, man. Them muscles start cramping up and everything. Come on, man. Use some ring IQ, Lester Martinez. I don't know, man. You know, I say these things, but it's like you be wanting more for the guys than they want for themselves. And that's very hard. Crawford shows you exactly what a fighter should be in there with the temperament, the professionalism, the professional approach. Some of these guys, you just kind of wonder, why are they doing this? Are they just morons? So yeah, I'm harsh in my critique of these guys like that. Very much so. I ain't cutting them no slack, man. No slack whatsoever. Shoot. Let me see if I can pull something else up here. Okay. I don't have. Okay, let's see here. Before I go further, because I was going to talk about the fights coming up tomorrow, but Boxing News 24, those guys are some of the most bigoted and biased, prejudiced journalists writing on the sport that I have seen. Do you know they have an article that was produced earlier today that says that Sergio Mora now is declaring that David Benavidez is the face of boxing after Canelo loses to Bud Crawford. How is David Benavidez any considered fighter over Bud Crawford? It boggles the mind. Bud is the more complete, more accomplished fighter, and he just exorcised the demon of Canelo Alvarez, whom ducked Benavidez for several years. So Benavidez, without accomplishing it, has leapfrogged and become the face of boxing. That fat tub of a young man who can't keep himself in shape. The shape that he knows is round, oblong, pear, Really? A former druggie? Really? A former undisciplined guy who knows how to lose titles on the scales? Yeah, him? That dude, A guy who barely got past David Morrell, who was clowning, Yeah, really. This is crazy. In Terrence Bud Crawford, you got a fighter right there that dignifies what this is all about. Who the hell is Sergio Mora? If I'm not mistaken, his ring name was the Latin Snake, right? What do you guys say about snakes? What do you know about what a snake is? What does the Bible tells you about a snake? That's right, Stephen L. Benavidez is only the monster to Canelo, He's the boogie monster under his bed and in his closet, That's who he on. That's the only one he scares. Freaking ridiculous, man. This Mora guy. But it just continues to show the discriminative nature of people who are biased, and bigoted in their belief system, because he probably believes that Canelo won the fight last Saturday. Listen to this. It says, Sergio Mora says he views David Benavidez as the new face of boxing now after Canelo Alvarez was beaten by Terrence Crawford last weekend. He points out that Benavidez is young at 28, not showing signs of ring wear, possesses the size, speed, and power to be the next face of the sport. But I just told you that he's a slob. He's a fat, out of shape, undedicated fighter, who got frustrated, that Canelo wouldn't just get in the ring with him, so he runs up to light heavyweight and wants to get a belt up there, trying to force someone to fight him when he hasn't fought for the right at light heavyweight. And if he was just patiently awaiting and taking on the other opposition that was at super middleweight, he would have given us an opportunity to see how good he truly is. beating up on a Dimitri Andrade who's been out of the ring and past due for a number of years, fighting at a above weight that he really didn't need to be fighting at. Caleb Plant is a fighter that has shown a propensity to run out of steam late in fights. He gets a good start, but he can't close strong. So it's how you out there beating up on guys like that, but you got guys like Osley Iglesias out there, Christian and Billy out there, Lester Martinez out there, but you ain't sticking around for those guys who can contend with you, who are young like you, and who can show that maybe you're not a monster at all. And that's not a bias. That's not bigoted. That's not prejudiced, what I just said. I just pointed out there is an assortment of talent there that he could sort out. But you know what? He went north. You know why? Because it requires discipline to make 168. And if you saw him when they did the presser, when they were announcing that he's going to fight Anthony Yard, he looked like he might have been at a presser to meet up with Tyson Fury. Huh? In fact, I think they got the same body type, he and Fury. Yeah, but see, Stephen L., he ain't interested in cleaning out the division. He's only interested in cleaning out the buffet. And see, I ain't for no foolishness. I will tell it like it is because other people want to come out there and shit in the face of an accomplished fighter like Terrence Bud Crawford, like this Sergio Snake Mora, trying to leapfrog over an accomplished individual. 3 multiple division undisputed titles. If that ain't the freaking face of boxing, what is? And this is not because he's got a loud personality and is always in somebody's face with the camera or microphone. He goes back and he's with his family and his young children and everything. And he's doing his thing till it's time to sign that contract and come out and whoop somebody else's ass. Yeah. Benavidez is sitting back there munching on burritos and talking all that crap, but his waistline is expanding. Huh? Why don't he do like that other kid did and go on up to cruiserweight where he really belongs? Cleaning out the division. Yeah, right. He's cleaning out the damn buffet. That's what he's cleaning out. I'm sorry, sir. We closed. Huh? There's a very good chance if Anthony Yard concentrates on his belly, he will earn the jelly, huh? He gonna get that guy if he comes in there and all of that. You can't keep fluctuating, going up and down and weight and all of that. You pushing 250 pounds, huh? Macadus Mac, that ain't a good fight. Jai Opataya smashes that boy to bits. Oh yeah, Aaron Butler, you are 1000% correct there. If Bud and Clarissa were white, oh my goodness, they'll be on the cover of Home and Gardens, huh? And they ain't even talking about nobody's homes or gardens, but they'll put them on the cover, huh? And I'll tell you a little secret. If either one of them two were just a couple of shades lighter, huh? They would get more consideration. If Bud was like light brown skin or even tone brown skin like Errol Spence or something like that, or heaven forbid if he was a yellow belly like Tank Davis, oh, you wouldn't hear the end of his name in the sport of boxing. And I'll tell you, if Clarissa was the same skin tone as Alicia Baumgardner, oh yeah, people will be talking about how fine she is, huh? Intercultural racism is something that we deal with, and we can't seem to get it out of our system as a collective, huh? We can't get rid of it. Self-imposed. Some kind of way you fools look at them as the skin tone. The higher you are, the better you are. But I'm going to tell you something. Nothing in this existence is born out of not being born out of carbon, huh? And carbon is what? Dark matter, huh? Carbon is dark matter. The Bible teaches that man was made from the soil of the earth. What type of color is soil? That's why someone like Sergio Mora can come on and say these despicable things that he said, leapfrogging over the likes of Bud for consideration as the face of boxing, because you all won't stand up for Bud, huh? Some of y'all have called him black as your shoe polish or whatever and said all kinds of derogatory things about him, and you don't look any better than he does. I watch this foolishness, man, and I just get beside myself because I'm like, the self-hate is strong. People give so much energy to foolishness. Tons of energy to foolishness. I want to play a little something for Sergio Mora. Huh? I want to play something for Sergio Mora. Huh? Pay attention to your screen.
You mentioned me one elite fighter. Just one.
You.
Me.
Look, when I stuff a mud hole in your asses, you're gonna be a nobody. You're gonna be just like everybody else.
Yeah, you see that? And a little something else.
It don't matter to me. It's all gonna be the same.
Yeah, and a little something else.
I try it, but my body just not let me go. And you need to accept it. That's it. I hit Crawford, but no clean shots. Like with all my power. He's a great fighter. He's a good fighter. He knows how to move and everything.
You see that? He said we need to accept it. That's when you know you've been truly humbled. When the guy that you humbled sits up and tells the people that's supporting him, we need to accept it. I got my ass whooped. Huh?
You mentioned me one elite fighter. Just one.
You.
Me.
Look, when I stuff a mud hole in your asses, you're gonna be a nobody. You're gonna be just like everybody else.
Yep. Yep.
It don't matter to me. It's all gonna be the same.
I try it, but my body just not let me go. And you need to accept it. That's it. I hit Crawford, but no clean shots. Like with all my power. He's a great fighter. He's a good fighter. He knows how to move and everything.
You see that? Straight from the horse's mouth. From the horse's mouth. Buzz said it don't matter to me. He didn't care about the gloves. He just wanted to get down to action. Didn't he say when he fought Spence and he was up on that dais, he was like, when it's time to get active, I get active. He got active on Canelo's ass. Wasn't nobody paying attention though. Put his foot in his ass. And when he put his foot in his ass, it might as well went in Sergio Mora's ass and all them other ones out there too. Ellie Nutsack, all of them. They mad. They mad because the dominance continues. Huh? When you got the real ones, the dominance will continue. As long as you got the real ones. When you got the pretenders and the fake ones and the ones who will roll over and show their belly, huh? You don't get that from those guys. Jerron Boots Ennis. Yeah, I said it. Didn't Bud tell y'all he ain't me? Didn't he say that? Or is it selective memory time again? Yeah, that's right. Stephen L., that's right. Let's go back down memory lane since they want to forget, Stephen L.
Well, I've been telling each and every one of y'all for years. A lot of y'all over here looking sad. Ellie, you looking like a retarded ass dude over there because you was born against me. You know what I mean? But all in all, you know, I get to say I told y'all because I've been asking for these fights for years. And y'all been saying, oh, he's too small. He's going to get this. He's going to get broken. And each and every time that I step up, I proved y'all wrong.
Yeah, buddy. And that was the post-fight press conference after Spence. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. You see? These guys are out here pretending like they didn't see this, didn't hear that, don't remember this. I remember it. They don't remember. Let me jar their memory one more time.
Don't matter to me. It's all gonna be the same.
Boy, you gotta love Bud, I'm telling you, man. He say, pew. My man. The first time I heard him say that, I was like, hey, I gotta put that on my soundboard there, man. There's gonna be some more too. Hey, he gonna add to that. He said there's gonna be some people crying out there. Mugs is still crying. They crying so bad now. They talk about his gloves was bad. Oh, y'all talking about gloves now? What was it like 8 years ago? We was talking about Tyson Fury's gloves and whatnot, and nobody said nothing about that. What is that? What is that? Huh? What? I don't. Hey, I don't want to hear nothing about gloves. No. You know, what the hell you talking about? Gloves. Anyway, let me see. I'm gonna look up. Gabrielle Fondor. Tomorrow night, she's fighting to defend her undisputed flyweight title. And I think she's taking on Alexis Kubicki. I did a breakdown video on that. Kubicki is a talented fighter out of Canada, but she's not on Gabriella's level. But it should be entertaining while it lasts. But I see Gabriella, stepping it up on her. What's interesting is that I have this image of her standing next to the guys on the dais, with her belts and everything, Oscar Collazo and Jason Vason, and she's towering over those guys. She's 5'9", and those guys are like 5'2" and 5'4". It's just amazing to see this girl. She is something else, though. She's a damn good fighter. I like to watch Gabby fight. I like to watch Lauren Price fight. Caroline Dubois. Women's boxing is just awesome right now. I like so many of the ladies of today boxing. They just bringing it, and this quality. Well, Stephen L., you need to send her a message to check out Stormy, because Stormy be giving her good journalism, man. I be giving her good videos and breakdowns and talking very positive. I don't mix her brother or her dad in with the fair that I talk about her. Only thing I said is she's probably the best fighter in the Dubois family. So, and I'm sure she would admire that. So, but yeah, Carolina's a heck of a fighter. Yeah, Eric Jordan. I like Michaela Mayer too. I like Michaela Mayer. Mayer is not afraid to challenge herself. I hated the fact that they robbed her in that fight against, what's her name? The one that Lauren Price came right along and beat the crap out of. But they do that sometimes, But Mayer, and she's moving up. And I'm going to tell you something. If she wins this junior middleweight title, she's going to fight Clarissa Shields. And they're girls. They are girlfriends. You know what I'm saying? So, but they've talked about breaking bread together. So that's good stuff. Yeah, all these guys out here, they were talking about close your channel and all of this. They seem to have closed themselves once Bud let the dog out on Canelo. Did y'all see them bruises on his face when I played that video of him saying Bud was a good fighter? He looked like he had been caught in the alley, huh? On the wrong side of town. He didn't have Sergio Mora there to run bodyguard for him, huh? Yeah. No, Quan Big Guns, that's not what I said, brother. Don't be dyslexic. I said Michaela Mayer. She's getting ready to fight for the middleweight title. She's moving up. If she wins that title, she's going to fight Clarissa. That's what I said. They're girlfriends. See? That's... Man, my video for M. Billy versus Martinez has blown up. A lot of people watching that video. Quan says, I am dyslexic. Listen, man, and I ain't laughing at that. I'm laughing at the fact that, you know, I just say stuff, man. It just rolls off the tongue, man, you know. But sometimes it's friendly fire, you know. Sometimes it's friendly fire, but don't worry. You know what I mean? I'm getting Alzheimer's myself, so, hey. Embrace your shortcomings. Over 70 something people. It's like only 24 likes, man. That's ridiculous. You see how these fools be watching the sensei, man? You see that? Be out there watching, peeping through the blinds. Only thing I want is a raccoon to come along and pee on the bushes, huh? While they peeping through them. But the last part of that Collazo versus Vason fight, those guys are fighting at the minimum weight limit. They're little bitty dudes, but I'm going to tell you something. Collazo from Puerto Rico, good little fighter. I expect him to come out on top in that fight, but he wants to represent. Yeah. Yes, sir. And Stephen L., what you could do is you could go in my archives, just look back a few fights, a few weeks on my facing page. There should be a video that you can share with her that I've done on her. I'm sure she'd appreciate that. Yeah. Oh, okay, that's cool. That's cool. Because I've talked about her quite a bit. Her and all the ladies. Yep. Yeah. But I expect Collazo to come out on top in that fight tomorrow. Really looking forward to seeing him do his thing. Rod Neal, what's good with you, bro? Yeah, that's right. Stephen L., the Chris Eubank and Conor Ben presser was earlier this week announcing their fight on October 15th? Is October 15th or November 15th? November 15th, I think it is. And let me tell you something. That rematch is going to be good. Thanks, Stephen L., for reminding me. Because when I would have got off the show and got off the air, I would have been mad that I forgot to mention it. But Eubank Jr. is bringing Bomac back into his camp for his fight against Conor Ben. Listen, man, with Bomac's help, I expect Eubank Jr. to have a really good performance against Conor Ben in the rematch. People sleep on Bomac's ability to be a coach and trainer, man. Been talking about that guy for a few years now. They rather give cheaters like Eddie Reynoso credit for being a coach and a trainer of the year and receive accolades. But when, in the meantime, when someone like Brian Bomac McIntyre, listen, he has shown with the talents that he has brought through, with what he has done over the years with Terrence Crawford. I mean, come on. It's time to acknowledge some things. Absolutely. Absolutely. Yep. I expect that to be a pretty entertaining fight for Eubank Jr. Ben is going to run into some problems. Well, Eubank is going to be training in Dubai. And the fight, where's the fight being held, Stephen L.? I forget where they're going to hold the fight. Okay, Mac, it is Mac. Thanks. Yeah, I think Bo Mac can go back over there. I think he could go back. Somebody spoke on Bo Mac's behalf and got him proper consideration and representation. I think he'll be over there. Well, man, that Collazo versus Vason fight, those some little dudes. Man, they so little, man. 5'2.5", 5'3", 5'4". It's like they little, man. They Tank Davis size. The Tank weigh a little more than them, but that's the size. Yeah, but that presser, it had Eubank Jr. He was really saying some stuff that was probably pissing Ed Hearn off. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm gonna do my little feature on that presser too, because Eubank Jr. was doing some awesome stuff, man. He was doing some awesome stuff, talking some awesome things. But we got some good fights coming up both in October and November. Listen, that fight that is proposed at heavyweight between Fabio Wardley and Joseph Parker, don't sleep on that one, guys. Be ready for that fight, because I'm going to tell you something. Keep your eyes out for Fabio Wardley, man. Fabio Wardley is not gaining the respect and garnering the respect that he deserves. And Joseph Parker thought he was going to have an easy skate toward a title opportunity. And listen, the road just gets tougher. Parker is not as good as he thinks he is, and Fabio is better than people think he is. So keep your eye out for that one. That's a good one. Yep. Steph Brown says the white collar fighter prevails. Yep. I'm telling you, man. Listen, boxing is going through a change, a renaissance. I announced this last year, you guys. I said the wheel is starting to turn. You're going to see some of this stuff where the guys that don't want to step up and guys don't want to make the fights and all that. I said those guys are going to start to get pushed by the wayside, and a new generation of fighters who want to test their mettle, who want to challenge themselves, who want more than just, some kind of gift or whatever. They're going to surge to the forefront. The climate is changing in boxing. That's why you got the representation like a Bud Crawford having the success he's having. Guys like Fabio Wardley, I'm talking about him already because you guys have to watch out for him. And then there are other fighters throughout the sport sprinkled here and there. Abdullah Mason. You're going to see differences. The Keishans and the Shitty Cousins and these guys and Tank Dave, those guys are going to get moved out of the way because they don't want to fight. It's different if they fight because you gain the experiences from the matchups. Some you might lose, some you might win. Who knows? But you got to do it. They're not even trying. You see how much difficulty Tank is having with this so-called exhibition fight with Jake Paul? They shouldn't have it. It's not for boxing. It shouldn't have it. It's a freak show. Why? And why should they be paid multi-millions of dollars for a freak show? Maybe that whole thing with Jake Paul, that stuff is getting ready to start running out for him. Maybe. Now, as far as the promotions that he's doing with boxing and women's boxing in particular, he's doing good stuff there. That's what his lane is. He should stick to it. But all of this trying to bring a professional fighter over into the realm of what he's doing over there with these novelty acts, no, man. Quan Big Guns, what in the world make you think that that's a 50-50 fight, bro? What make you think it's 50-50? What do you got that to base on? Hooney was whooping on Parker, on Wardley. He was outboxing Wardley for certain. But Joseph Parker is not a great boxer. Hooney is. Do you forget Joseph Parker got knocked out by Joe Joyce? Do you forget Joseph Parker got mauled to death in a decision over by AJ? Did you forget that Dillian White beat Joseph Parker? Did you forget that Andy Ruiz Jr. handed him his dinner and lunch and everything else, but got robbed because he fought him in Australia? Did you forget that Big Bang Zhang had him down twice and they still gave a decision to Parker, and Parker was supposed to have a rematch with him and he let the contract expire? In the meantime, telling anybody who listen, I'll fight anybody. Get out of here, man. Joseph Parker is a pretender, and his road show is coming to an end very soon. Go back and look at the fight between Big Frage Clark and Fabio Wardley 1 and 2, especially 2 in particular. How old was he when he lost to Joe Joyce? And how big was he? And how big was he in his last fight? And how big is he right now? I love when you guys be trying to come up with some stuff. It doesn't do anything but bring out the humor in me. What's good, Cam? What's happening? Listen, nobody knew Hooney can box the way he could. Not even Parker. Not even Wardley. Because in his previous fight, he didn't show that. But, again, a win like that Wardley was able to pull out, it does so much for a fighter. It lets him know and gives him the confidence to understand that it's not over until the final bell. You know what I'm saying? So that's why fighters need to fight the fights. I give him credit for learning how to win a fight where he was losing on the scorecards. Guys who losing on the scorecards, who can't make adjustments, can't do anything to turn things around, and then they make it to the end, and then the judges give them a decision and stuff like that. That's a guy that doesn't grow. Yeah, it's just gonna be another opportunity to dispel the Andy Lee myth. That Andy Lee is some kind of great trainer and coach. Nope. Anyway, I can't wait for tomorrow. We got the good fights on. Gabriella gonna do her thing. They fighting with Coachella. Hey, I'm looking forward to it. So, yeah. Yeah, so I'm looking forward to the fights tomorrow, man. Even though it's not a major event like what we saw last weekend, I'm just excited for the sport. Sport of boxing is really thriving right now. And these guys who've been out here pretending, they're going to get passed up, man. And we'll be able to enjoy some real boxing from real participants in the sport, real fighters who really want to get some things done with their careers. And I look forward to supporting that. I really do. Yeah. But yeah, we're getting ready to wrap it up, man. Coming to the end of another Friday night chop session. Yeah, Quan Big Guns, that's pretty much what that means. Very little to no amateur background. That means that you're kind of wet behind the ears, you know, milk around the mouth, so to speak. But I'll tell you something. For someone who falls under that, that's a UK expression that they use over there more than it is over here in the West. But Fabio is one of the best white collar fighters that I've seen. I can tell you that. Yeah, one of the best, you know. So I look forward to the young man putting his wares on display. And they gonna mess around. They keep looking at Moses Atuma, and that guy gonna end up a world champion. I'm telling you, Fabio. He just seems to have it. He has the right intangibles. Moses Atuma, there's a lot of questions about him. You know they want to make him a star, but if you looked at the quality of the opposition that he had been beaten up before he fought Dillian White, I mean, I'm still not sold on that dude. I'm not sold on him. So it is what it is. But yeah. But I'm going to get ready to get on out of here. I thank everybody for tuning in. Please smash that like button on the way out if you didn't on your way in. I want to say shout out to the mighty LDBC. And we'll catch you guys on the next one. I'm not sure if I do a post-fight show tomorrow or if I just save the information for Sunday's call-in, but either way, we will be back over the weekend at some point in time. Blessings to you all. Catch you guys on the next one.
You mentioned me one elite fighter. Just one.
You.
Me.
Look, when I stuff a mud hole in your asses, you're gonna be a nobody. You're gonna be just like everybody else.
Don't matter to me. It's all gonna be the same.
I try it, but my body just not let me go. And you need to accept it. That's it. I hit Crawford, but no clean shots. Like with all my power. He's a great fighter. He's a good fighter. He knows how to move and everything.
Don't matter to me. It's all gonna be the same.
Oh, what a nice day. Look at Jessica. Jessica, what are you doing? You know you can't swim. Get away from the water, Jessica. Jessica, get away from the... Oh, my God. Somebody help Jessica, please. She can't swim. Go help Jessica, run. Jessica, no. Oh, my God. No, Jessica. No, the water is pulling her back in. Where's the lifeguard? Lifeguard, hurry up! You can't swim! Jessica, no! Lifeguard, please save her! Yes, do lifeguard! Save her, no! Please, Jessica! Oh, look, hey! That husband is coming! Oh, do one of them there! Hey, please, save her! Jessica! They're coming now, they're here! Jessica!